Ever pondered the sonic allure of hip-hop music? The pulsating beats, the rhythmic flow, and above all, the reverb. Ah, the reverb. That echoey effect that makes the music feel as if it's bouncing off the walls of a cavernous hall or a small room. It's an integral part of the hip-hop sound, the aesthetic heart of the genre, if you will. But how did it come about, and how has it evolved over time? Let's dive into a brief history lesson. The roots of reverb in hip-hop can be traced back to the late 70s and early 80s, in the Bronx, New York. Producers and DJs, in their quest to make their sound unique and larger than life, began to experiment with echo and delay effects. They found that by adding reverb, they could create a sense of space and depth in their music, and thus, the reverb aesthetic was born. Fast forward to the 90s. As hip-hop began to splinter into various subgenres, the use of reverb also diversified. East Coast rappers preferred a gritty, raw sound with minimal reverb. Meanwhile, West Coast artists like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg favored a more polished sound with heavy reverb, creating a sonic landscape that felt expansive and cinematic. The new millennium saw further evolution of the reverb aesthetic in hip-hop. Artists like Kanye West and Jay-Z began to use reverb not just as a tool to enhance their sound, but as a creative element in its own right. They would manipulate the reverb to create different moods and textures, adding layers of complexity to their music. Today, the reverb aesthetic continues to be a vital part of hip-hop. It's used in innovative ways by artists across the globe, helping to define their unique sound and identity. Whether it's the atmospheric reverb of Travis Scott's Astroworld, or the sparse, haunting reverb of Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, it's clear that reverb is more than just an effect. It's the pulse, the heartbeat of hip-hop music. In summary, the reverb aesthetic in hip-hop has come a long way since its inception in the late 70s. From its early use as a tool to create a sense of space and depth, to its current use as a creative element, reverb has played a crucial role in shaping the sound and identity of hip-hop music. It's the sonic signature of the genre, the aesthetic heart that keeps the music alive and pulsating. And as hip-hop continues to evolve and push boundaries, one thing is certain: the reverb aesthetic is here to stay.